welcome back. It doesn't get any better than this. A beautiful sunny day at the end of March for opening day in Cincinnati. I mean, it's almost like unbelievable that we got this kind of weather and we lucked out with all of these people behind us. It is going to be a fantastic day.
All these people, all these colors. The red has taken over Cincinnati as always. The parade's in less than, 7 minutes from right now? And I'm looking at the U.S. Army Reserve Band. They've had their instruments up. They are ready to play. Once this gets going at noon, it's going to be a great spectacle because this thing is loaded, Rob, with floats.
That's right, 159 entries this year. That's more than last year. And we know that not everyone can come down here and watch the parade in person. That's why we're doing this. So pick a comfy spot in your house and watch us for the next 90 minutes. We're going to bring the parade to you. If you plan on coming down, you better hurry up. What are you doing? Get down here because the streets are filling up.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with parking. You're going to have to walk a little bit, wear your gym shoes, and then stop over to us and say hi. And if you are here, send us photos so we can put them on the air later on today. Stick around. The parade's just a few minutes away.
Keeping you informed anytime, anywhere, everywhere. Fox 19 Now is sponsored by the Free Store Food Bank. Help Free Store Food Bank strike out hunger. Donate today. Live from Fox 19 Now, it's the Findlay Market Opening Day Parade, sponsored by Skyline Chili and Turfway Park Racing and Gaming.
Everything is getting ready to kick off. We heard the bells of St. Francis Seraph Church on cue, kind of starting the 104th Findlay Market Opening Day Parade. People are starting to cheer. You can feel the excitement building.
It's funny because you wonder, you don't even have to look at your watch. You're like, I wonder what time it is. Are we getting close? And then you can just feel everybody's moving around a little bit. You got pom-poms moving around. And soon we're going to hit the horns blaring. The bands are going to crank up, which the marching bands, always my favorite parts.
You hear these little pops of excitement from the crowd, too. The energy's starting to pick up. And I'll say this before the parade gets going here in a minute. You guys next year need to get off this platform and be in the parade because these two are like the biggest attraction down here right now.
Right.
In between every shot, they're taking pictures, they're taking selfies. People come up to them and say, Rob and Trisha, I've been watching you for 20 years.
Now you gotta add that part in, right?
And Trisha always comes back with, I haven't been doing this long enough for you to be watching me for 20 years. So next year, guys, I'll do this. You guys get in the parade so you can get the flowers you deserve.
I appreciate that, and Trisha and I have been working together a real long time.
Yes.
And the thing is I know what she's thinking. She knows what I'm thinking, and it's nothing short of a partnership, a true partnership with us.
But a lot of times when I know what Rob's thinking, I don't say it out loud because he'll get in trouble.
I can tell you what I'm thinking. I can hear noises behind me that sound like the start of a parade.
Yeah.
And this is going to be fun. Rob, you mentioned it, 159 floats, bigger than last year. The weather is perfect. The Reds are playing a game. I'll say it right now. The Reds are playing a game today. They should win.
Yeah.
They should beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. Hunter Green is on the mound. If we're not going to be optimistic about anything, how can you not be optimistic about opening day, the opening day parade? Great weather here in Cincinnati. This is a grand slam for Cincinnati to have a moment like this.
The weather today is spectacular, and Rob mentioned it a little bit earlier. If you're not down here, it's okay. And actually, it might be too late to get down here because of parking, but just sit tight because we have it covered. We have crews all over the place. We also have crews in the parade as well. We're going to be right here. We have a packet of all of the floats, so you're not going to miss one thing at all.
And the thing about opening day and the opening day parade, it's like the first day of school, right? Anything is possible. So you do have to believe. And I think this is when we believe the most.
Yeah, the word is hope.
Yeah.
The word is always hope on opening day, and hope comes with any start of any baseball season, and we'll talk about it during the parade. We all understand the expectations for the Reds this year. We know what happened last year with them losing 100 games, but I think this is the year to start to see some progress. I think that's the word to look for. Hope, progress with this team. Hunter Green's on the mound today. He's the guy everybody's pointing towards with this team in the future, trying to get the Reds back to playing competitive and maybe even playoff baseball here in the coming seasons. But there are young guys that this team can latch onto. We all want to see stars. There are stars on this team. Jonathan India can be a star. Tyler Stevenson can be a star. Joey Votto's not playing today. This could be his final season in Cincinnati. That's why the city's excited, because of some of those big names.
Let's kick it off, my friends. You can hear they're revving up behind us. We got a little bit of honking going on.
And I'll tell you what, like, we did walk in the parade before, and it's so loud that sound does have feel, especially when you make that turn onto 5th Street and start heading to Fountain Square.
And Rob, I do love the fact that Rob is channeling the Ted Lasso, we believe, the belief thing. Very timely, my friend. Good stuff.
And how appropriate is it that the first float of the opening day parade is the Rozzy Famers fireworks? Because if you're going to start a parade, you got to start it off with a bang. With a bang. The fireworks have been such a big part of the Cincinnati sports culture for such a long time, and the Cincinnati culture with the Labor Day fireworks. To start it off with the Rozzy's float, I think, is a great way to start every parade here in Cincinnati.
If somebody ever gives you Reds tickets, always try to get the ones on Friday night Rozzy fireworks nights,
point.
Because those are the best.
That's a great show, and I think the Reds do a good job of that. Outside of the baseball, of making the ballpark a destination for different reasons, whether it's food, whether it's entertainment, whether it's the fireworks. You got to give fans in 2023 more than just a baseball game, and I think the Reds have done a good job of that, understanding that, hey, we might not have a great team, not have a playoff team, we can still put on a good, entertaining product.
And we saw the Cincinnati Police Department Honor Squad. Right now you're looking at the 338th U.S. Army Reserve Command Band. As Trisha said, bands are her favorite. This one here serves our country.
I know.
There are so many bands. We've gone through this package, so many bands in this parade. And there's a great mix of different things. There's bands, there's kids, there's adults, there's people who have been doing this for decades. So it's a lot of history of Cincinnati, and it's also a celebration of all the talents and all the history that Cincinnati has that a lot of times people, come to the parade, you didn't know Cincinnati had until you see it here on display.
You see the Cincinnati Fire Department going down there to waves and cheers and stuff. I love seeing that as well, because firefighters' job, running into a burning building, should not be taking lightly. There's a drone flying right there. I wonder if that's ours, because that is cool.
And the other thing about that you might not know, about the Cincinnati Fire Department is that it is the oldest paid fire department in the country.
Yeah, according to the information.
That's not our drone. I think that's
not
illegal.
our drone. Yeah, exactly. To follow up on Rob said, the Cincinnati Fire Department is the first professional fire department in the U.S. April 1st, 1853 was the first paid fire department in the United States.
And if you want to learn more, there is a Cincinnati Fire Department museum located near City Hall downtown.
Appropriate color, too. The big red fire truck. It kind of just fits well on opening day here in Cincinnati. Again, we've been talking about the crowds. We can see the people lining the street. I'm counting them. They're not just lined up on the street. These people are 5, 6 deep right here at the start of the parade to see the floats go by. And again, I think that has to speak to the weather here in Cincinnati and people coming out to want to see a parade. They always want to see the parade, but when you come out here on a day like this, I think it brings more people out here to want to celebrate and enjoy the day.
Well, the next float you're going to be seeing is the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary. This is a volunteer group, all ununiformed branch of the Coast Guard. They help with all the safety patrols on the waterways, that sort of thing. They teach boating classes and that sort of thing. There's quite a few of them towing that boat.
The PFD Panda wearing his life jacket. That's the mascot, encouraging kids to wear life jackets at all times when on water. And the kids will see that. I mean, how could you not see a big panda in a Reds hat with a life jacket?
Lead by example, my friend. Wear that life jacket, kids.
Now we're taking a look at the Pendleton County High School Navy ROTC. It's a high school program sponsored by the U.S. Navy. This is their color guard, banner, and marchers from Pendleton County.
You know, I love looking at all the people that are in the parade because they played such a big part. As you're seeing, there's a big 104th annual rather, Findlay Market opening day parade. Truck, you know, a tow being pulled by a big truck, and all of those people that help put this together. Rob, you know a lot of those individuals that help put this together every year as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the thing about Findlay Market is it's like shopping for groceries in the 1920s, where your butcher knows you, your grocer knows you, the person who sells you milk knows you, and gives you suggestions on what to buy. It's really great.
And you can. There's also really good parking. If you've never been down there, you should try it. Stop by one time, and you can park right there. It's just like going to Kroger or anything. I mean, parking's right there. It's not like you have to like maneuver through downtown Cincinnati.
And not to give anyone any free advertising, but it is really great to go to Eckerlin Meats and get a breakfast sandwich. I do that almost every Saturday morning.
Nice.
Let's go now to Ashley Smith, standing by with one of the grand marshals of the opening day parade, Danny Graves.
Okay, so we are here with Danny Graves. Hello. Of course, one of the grand marshals of the parade. Danny, what are you looking forward to about today?
All the people here. The weather's beautiful. I can't ever remember Cincinnati weather being this nice on opening day.
I think you're right. And so you get to be Grand Marshal. What an honor. You're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. A big year for you, Danny. What's it like to finally get that recognition?
Well, I didn't play the game for the recognition. I think it's just a blessing to have that extra part. Never imagined it would happen, but it happened, so I'm going to just try to just enjoy it while I can.
And who do you have with you here?
This is Peter, my 7-year-old. He's enjoying it.
That is so fun. Peter gets to ride in a nice convertible in the most beautiful weather ever of opening day. Danny, enjoy it. Have fun.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and so we also have, of course, behind him, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft. They are also going to be in the parade. Of course, these are up-and-coming pitchers, great starting pitchers for the Cincinnati Reds, and they are going to be enjoying this beautiful weather. They will be starting later this weekend. Of course, today it is Hunter Green and Bronson Arroyo in true rock star fashion. He is back here as well, of course, the other Grand Marshal. But people have been all over him. He's taking pictures over here right now. Peyton's going to come over here. I mean, you talk about Frank stopping the parade. Bronson Arroyo is stopping this parade right now, taking all sorts of pictures. I mean, just such a nice guy. You can tell that there's kind of a gap in the parade right now, and when you guys see that gap, that's why, because Bronson Arroyo, again, is getting in the car and getting ready to, of course, continue this parade in a beautiful red vehicle as well. A little different kind of take on a convertible. But, of course, we were just talking to the people with Findlay Market, they are so thrilled that this weather is so nice. They think that they expect about 100,000 people to be coming out here watching this opening day parade. So we'll let Bronson Arroyo get in the vehicle. Of course, he is continuing to kind of get ready, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with him. But again, there's all this gap in the parade route right now as they head toward you guys down there at the stage. So we'll send it back to you for now as we continue to get this parade rolling, guys.
One quick follow-up to her calling Bronson Arroyo a rock star. He's a literal rock star.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally. He played a concert an opening day last year outside of Great American Ballpark. He played a concert inside Great American Ballpark once. He is a literal rock star who used to pitch here in Cincinnati.
Does he play instruments and sing, or is he just sing?
Absolutely.
Oh, he
yeah.
sings.
Really? What
Yeah,
instruments? Any idea?
Plays guitar. You know, he's performed with Pearl Jam.
Really?
Yeah. Performed with Pearl Jam. Rob's face. Yeah,
Eddie
he did
Vedder,
that.
really?
Eddie Vedder, absolutely. He's a huge fan of Pearl Jam. And one of our old coworkers, Ron Millinor, who works for Valley Sports Ohio, did a feature on him once, and he has one of Eddie Vedder's picks that he used with his guitar. So that's one of his big keepsakes from his time playing with Pearl Jam.
I got a question for the both of you, and especially Joe. In terms of opening day, it's an unofficial holiday around here. Does any other team have something like this?
They do, not to this extent.
Okay.
St. Louis does. St. Louis has an opening day parade. They have the Clydesdales. It's a big to-do in St. Louis. It's not like this. This is one we can flex our muscles on and say, we do it better than anybody else. And there are games now that start before the Reds. For the longest time, the Reds weren't just always at home. They were the first game of the Major League season. That was just part of the rule. That has changed. There are games that start at 1 o'clock today, but the Reds being back home. Remember last year with the lockout, they didn't start at home. They played in Atlanta, the first series of the season. This year they're back here in Cincinnati, and it's great to have Danny Graves back. Danny Graves is a guy that's going in the Reds Hall of Fame this year. He's the all-time saves leader in Cincinnati Reds history, was a great pitcher for the Reds, and it's great to have him back and have his son experience this kind of moment. And then behind him, again, we've talked about the future of the Reds. These two guys right here are right there with Hunter Green. So if Hunter Green is number one reason to be excited for the future, this is 1A and 1B right here. Nick Lodolo and Graham Ashcraft, who will pitch Saturday and Sunday respectively. Great young talents the Reds are expecting to help them get back to the playoffs.
Let's talk about one more time Eddie Vedder's bandmate, Bronson Arroyo, who's down here with Ashley. Ashley, what's up?
Yeah, so we are here with Bronson Arroyo. Bronson, this ride is beautiful, but you look great on top of it. What's it like to be so popular? I mean, you held up the parade. So many people wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, you know, it's always great to be back in Cincinnati. I mean, you know, being here, playing here for almost a decade, people really have given me a lot of love, and I appreciate it.
You know, I think it's fitting that you're the Grand Marshal on the day that the Pirates play the Reds, right? I mean, are you looking forward to watching that game on opening day here on this unofficial holiday in Cincinnati?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I came up with the Pirates organization when I was young. I played in that organization for 8 years before I got here to Cincinnati. It's always been a great rivalry, and, you know, the two cities with the great rivers coming through here, it's always going to be fun for opening day.
Yeah, I think today, you know, until first pitch, we can love both cities, right? But once that first pitch starts, we're all Reds fans. And what do you see for the future of this team this year?
You know, it's a very young team. It's going to be a difficult year to try to win a division. But, you know, if we can get Ashcraft and Lodolo and Hunter Green to kind of come out of their shells, you know, feel like they're established Major League pitchers and really hold the fort down for these guys, they'll have an opportunity to compete.
What are you going to do with that megahorn?
Well, I think we're going to talk to the people when it gets a little quieter, hopefully.
All right, I'm going to let you do that, Bronson. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, back to you.
Here's
Joe,
the big shame.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
ask you
Tricia.
something, Joe. Okay,
Yeah.
so he talked about like the confidence that young players get. You know, that's true in any sport, really. But I mean, you talk about these young players. There's a lot of them on the Reds this year gaining the confidence. So how do they go about doing that when they're just kind of thrown in the mix?
That's a hard thing to do because you can't manufacture it, right?
Right.
But these guys get to this level. You can't get to this level without having confidence in yourself. You know it. You coach athletes at a high level. So these guys get to this level. They understand what they can do, what they've done before, but they have to learn how to win. You have to learn how to win together. And we've heard the names, and we'll keep saying them throughout the day. Green, Lodolo, Ashcraft. That should give the organization confidence they can find a winning formula going forward here in the future, because in baseball you win with pitching, and they've done that right now, trying to build it that way. I have to say, although my biggest disappointment so far today is that Bronson Arroyo is wearing a hat.
Well,
because I wanted a blonde hair off between Trisha and Bronson. She asked me, does he still have the hair? I said, of course he has the hair. It looks like yours, but yours is always nice.
You know what? Ashley talked about it. There was a huge gap in the parade just now because Bronson Arroyo is taking time to meet the fans who supported him while he was here for 10 years.
And he's always been one of the most approachable, personable guys you'll see in a Cincinnati Reds uniform. And it's cool that even though a lot of these young people never saw him play, they know the name, they know he's a legend here in Cincinnati, and deservedly so. He's going in the Reds Hall of Fame this coming summer.
You know, it's almost so loud here as they cheer on Bronson. It's unimaginable. I mean, really, it's so cool, and they're just following him. It's like the wave almost going down the street, going down Race Street, because they're just cheering for him as he goes past.
This is how loud it got.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear each other.
It is. We're
when
right
the
next
crowd
to each other.
erupts, right? When they see something that they really like.
So we saw the Reds floats go by, the Reds rally pack. We saw Redzilla in the opening day parade again this year. That's a cool thing. I like that little LED screen showing off some of the Red star players for the fans to try to connect with some of these guys. You talked about the confidence in this young team. There are stars on this team that people in town know and expect to really take a next step. And I talked to guys like Jonathan India and Tyler Stevenson. Those are the next generation of Red stars that have to take the mantle from a guy like Joey Votto. This could be his final year here in Cincinnati. We understand what Joey Votto's meant to this organization. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but there's only a finite time a guy can play Major League Baseball, and somebody else has to become the face of the organization. And I think the Reds have a lot of guys who could do that.
You know, one of my favorite people, Jim Scott, right? A legend at WLW.
A legend.
I interned with him when I was a kid. Honestly, I say kid because it was such a long time ago. And he gave me my first opportunity to ever be on air in Cincinnati. He is a fine man. He is a legend in Cincinnati. Completely likable man, and he always has a Grippo potato chip bag in his back pocket.
What?
If you asked him right now, he would whip it out. I bet he would. And he'd show you that bag.
When you were his intern, what advice do you most remember?
He just told me to always believe in myself.
Yeah, okay.
Honestly, and he's a good person, Rob. He really is, and I'm glad seeing him in the parade
Me
as well.
too.
And how can you not see Jim Scott and want a bag of Grippos?
Right!
I mean, that's Cincinnati through and through right there. That guy's been doing Grippo ads since I was a little kid, an absolute Cincinnati legend. And it was kind of cool. You talk about gaps in the parade, it's almost like he had his own personal gap.
Yes.
The Jim Scott gap for people just to enjoy who he is and what he's meant to our city.
If you've never had the opportunity to go to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, you should really make this your year. Established in 1958, the Reds Hall of Fame is the largest team Hall of Fame in all of baseball. And check out these uniforms right here. The Red Stockings walking with Johnny Bench's son. Bobby's in there. Bobby's going to be in this Jeep that's going to be right behind
Do you know
all of
the
the Red
story of this
Stockings right
Bronco?
here. Tell me.
No.
So this red Bronco that's coming up, that was given to Johnny Bench during his retirement in 1983. Now I'm jogging memories of older Cincinnati Reds fans. They drove this red Bronco onto the field at old Riverfront Stadium to give to Johnny as a goodbye. Thank you for the Hall of Fame career. Thank you for the World Championships. Here's a red Bronco. They refurbished it. It's still working. His son is driving it. That's the actual Bronco they gave to Johnny Bench. He was tweeting about this last night. He said, #Bench Bronco. There it is,
And
right there.
And there's a photo of it right there.
right there.
It's fantastic. How cool is that? From 1983
Let me tell
to
you.
2003. That thing is 40 years old, and here it is. in the
Jody,
opening
that
day
is
parade.
a fantastic nugget. If not, that might be my favorite of this whole thing because I love Johnny Bench, by
and
the
he's
way.
the best. Can I
Yo,
tell a story
yes.
about Johnny Bench?
Please.
With the Reds Hall of Fame, they went by. So when Johnny Bench, and we all know this, the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum always has themes.
Yeah.
This year it's women in baseball. It's an amazing display. You got to go see it. Several years back, there was a Johnny Bench year where it was a Johnny Bench theme. And I had him inside the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum to talk about this. We reserved time before everybody else would show up because you bring Johnny Bench to the Hall of Fame and Museum, he's going to get mobbed.
Correct.
So we went so long and talked so much that people started showing up. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I started to feel bad that I'm going to get Johnny Bench in trouble here with a lot of pictures. He ate it up. He ate it up, took pictures with everybody. He was singing the old Baseball Bunch song. Remember that song when he was on that show? So that's Johnny Bench in a nutshell to me, a guy that's always felt comfortable around the fans, telling stories, and even sharing his personality. I thought it was a cool thing that Johnny Bench did that day.
I got a question for you. In terms of players who played here for a long time and they move away, but they talk about how much they love the town, why don't they live here?
You would think they would because they have such a big name here. And you see a lot of guys doing that. There are different pulls, Rob, to why people go different places. But I think a lot of times you'll see a guy like Anthony Munoz, who came to Cincinnati from California, didn't know a soul, but he's such a big name here. Why would you leave when you have that kind of influence? And we've seen Anthony Munoz do that now for several years.
Ashley, we were just talking about women in baseball. Tell us more and show us what you got.
With the women in baseball, it is a new exhibit at the museum. So, Lauren, tell us more about women in baseball in the exhibit.
Yeah, so we are wearing dresses that they wore in 1869 when the women played baseball, and that's what they have now showing at the new exhibit at the Reds Hall of Fame.
Why is it important for people to see this and to know this history?
So it's just really awesome to see how these women played back then and to see the history of baseball with our Red Stockings players that are wearing the baseball uniforms and our women's uniforms.
Yeah, I like this. It's like you're kind of in an old-timey little section of the parade here. What's it like to walk in the opening day parade? I mean, how exciting is that?
It's awesome. This is my first year ever doing it, and so it's been a really great experience so far, and there's so many people down here celebrating Reds opening day.
Okay, and so we just go to the museum, check out the exhibit. Do you know how long it's going to be there?
I do not know for sure, but it just started recently.
So they should go now and check it out.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Lauren, and we will send it back to you guys.
A quick story about women in baseball. I worked in Evansville, Indiana for a year and a half, and they filmed a lot of scenes from A League of Their Own at a baseball field in Evansville, Indiana. So we have the Florence Freedom here, now the Florence Yalls. Okay, so there's a team in the same league, the Evansville Otters, and they have this historic place called Bosse Field. That's where they shot all the baseball scenes from A League of Their Own. Tom Cruise, Madonna in Evansville, Indiana. That's where they shot all of those scenes. It's the third oldest ballpark in the country behind Wrigley Field, Fenway Park. Bosse Field in Evansville, Indiana. It's not a far drive if you're from Cincinnati and want to go check it out.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad that they're having that exhibit at the Reds Hall of Fame Museum, because before that movie came out, I don't think many people knew that story.
I had no idea.
Yeah, me either.
And it was a great learning experience, not only watching the movie, but working in Evansville, Indiana, and seeing everything they did there to get that field ready for a production like that.
Well, there's
movie.
no crying in baseball, Joe and Rob.
A classic. It's one of the great lines in baseball movie history. And people all the time talk about baseball movies and what are some of the best.
Yeah.
A League of Their Own, to me, is right up there.
Agreed.
It's one of my favorites of all time because it not only has the history lesson you talk about, Rob, but it adds a lot of comedy also with Tom Hanks being in that movie.
Now let me tell you about the Kid Glove program. You're looking at this. This one is true to my heart right here. In memory of Paul Kramer right there. All of the funds raised go back to kids, 100%, girls, boys, all of that. I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. I'm going to send it over to Ashley because you have someone pretty important as well right next to you. Oh, she's walking there. Okay, so I can talk about the Kid Glove program a little bit more. All right, so it is where all of the proceeds for this program go toward the purchase of baseball and softball equipment for any kid. So basically, if you coach a program, if you are the head of a program, you contact the Kids Glove Game. They give you all of these tickets. Your organization sells them. They give you the money, and then you come to their big warehouse and you pick out all of the equipment. And they never say no. It's a fantastic organization.
Let's go to Ashley now. She's caught up with someone.
All right, we are here with the legend Marty Brenneman and his wife. Tell us about Help a Kid Play Baseball.
Tell you what?
About Help a Kid Play Baseball.
The Kid Glove?
The Kid Glove, yeah.
Kid Glove is an organization that's been going on for longer than you and I have been alive if you add the two. And they benefit youth league baseball in the greater Cincinnati, northern Kentucky area. They raise money for equipment. It's one of the great organizations as far as youth are concerned in our community that's been ongoing forever.
I love it. Okay, Marty. It's a beautiful day. There are 100,000 people here. What's it like year after year to be part of this parade?
Well, it's a privilege is what it is, because there's so much energy down here. People who are from somewhere other than Cincinnati and have never experienced this particular day have no idea how it is. There's nothing like it in Major League Baseball, and I can speak from experience because I was a part of almost every opening day in other cities. This is a very, very special day, and thank God we've got great weather.
Now, are they cheering for you or Amanda?
And what?
Are they cheering for you or Amanda?
They're cheering for Amanda, not me.
She looks gorgeous up there. Marty, have a great day and enjoy.
Good to see you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Okay, passing by right now, the Bearcats Hoops legends. I see some of the biggest names in UC basketball history on this float. Melvin Levitt's up there with his phone out. Corey Blunt, part of the Final Four team. George Wilson's in front. He's a national champion for the Bearcats. Some of the great names in UC basketball history. We also saw the Bearcats band go by. These basketball players are up there to help raise awareness for the Cincinnati Cancer Advisors. The organization hopes to take those feelings of chaos out of a cancer diagnosis by making second opinions more accessible. Good on the UC basketball players to be part of a really good cause.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll tell you, I'm just excited as everybody else. Every time they go past, I keep whipping my camera out and taking all these photos of all these people that are going. And these telephone poles keep getting in my way on Ray Street.
Well, we just saw the Rosie Reds go by.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. I knew its mission, but I didn't know it stood for Rooters Organized to Stimulate Interest and Enthusiasm in the Cincinnati Reds. Had no idea, but you see them passing by on the back of that semi.
Passing by now is the mayor, Aftab Puraval, shaking hands with some police officers working the route here today. I love his coat. Great style.
One person we haven't talked about in a long time is Marge Schott, right? We talked about women in baseball. Mm-hmm. You cannot talk about women in baseball without appreciating what she did for the team and being really one of the first females in baseball.
Reds won a World Series under her ownership, 1990.
I remember Marge Schott, I think she had like a Buick Riviera, right? Because she owned a couple of dealerships, and she would always see me and like wave out of her car. So yeah, I mean that was a time where there were very few women in management / ownership in terms of Major League Baseball.
Last time I got the opportunity to interview her, I was pregnant at the time, right? And she said, honey, you need to put on some weight. So she brings me to the back of her truck, pops her hood, pops the trunk, and gives me buns, like hot dog buns. And then big red, like googly glasses that they gave away as at the stadium. Yeah. It's fantastic. Because keep that for your kids.
Here comes the Thomas More University Marching Band, hyping up the crowd. And when they start playing again, what do you think? We lay out, let them play for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Once they start playing here and pass by us, here comes the Thomas More University Marching Band. I think they picked a great time to stop playing. Just got a drum line going here, so let's talk about Thomas More real quick. The TMU women, who we know are a dynasty in college basketball, they made the NAIA National Championship game after winning the national championship last season. They're about to go Division II. Big step for Thomas More University to take their athletics from NAIA up to Division II. They become a provisional member this coming fall, eligible to play in the Division II NCAA tournaments in a couple of years, but a big-time deal for them.
And I love the fact that Thomas More really recruits local. We talk about the importance of these coaches, keeping these athletes that work so hard in our community local. Thomas More has really done a great job at that. Hey, we know this one.
Yeah, our coworkers. They were waving so frantically like we were going to say hello to them.
Ashley, you're with a bunch of celebs down there as well.
These people that I found. Okay, so I've got Catherine Bodak, which by the way, it's her day off and she came here to the parade. Catherine, Lauren, Morgan, some of you it's your first parade, but Catherine, you're a pro. What do you most look forward to about this day?
This is I want to say nearly my 9th year doing this, and there's so many people, most people I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you can't beat opening day. Weather's perfect. I'm glad we had a verified forecast.
I mean, it's beautiful, and everybody's been been talking about it too. Lauren has been here since, well, she started at the ballpark. Now she's at the parade. How about this cool LED screen behind us too?
I said, wow, I mean, this is really neat. I love it. And you know what's so cool though? This is my first time walking in the parade. I love the excitement. It's so contagious. The atmosphere is amazing. I could probably walk all day, just getting my steps in.
I know that's what everybody says, and you guys get good music. Thomas More Band. All right, so it's all exciting over here. We got to wave to our coworkers up there on the stage. You guys are going to follow the storm tracker all the way through the parade, right?
We sure are, so make sure that you say hi if you're out here.
All right. They're like social media-ing at the same time. I don't know what's going on. All right, guys, back to you on the stage, but I tell you what, it's fun down here in OTR.
You know, we talk about all of these celebrities that do so much to give back. And Rob, you even mentioned people that aren't really born here, raised here, but they are touched by this community when they play on teams and they live here for the rest of their lives. And somebody that does such a great job in our community is Anthony Munoz.
Anthony Munoz is, you know, when you idolize someone and you meet them in person, you want them to be as good as you believe them to be. Anthony Munoz is one of those people.
I think if we ever needed to choose an ambassador to represent Cincinnati at any kind of a global event, he's my vote. Yeah. Anthony Munoz, what he represents for our city, the impact he's had on our city. You know, he came in every Friday during football season to Fox 19 Now to do a Bengals breakdown with the Bengals playing so well this season. And when he walks in, everybody doing maintenance around the building, everybody working in the parking lot, he stops, shakes a hand, takes a picture, always has time for people. And the impact he's had with the Anthony Munoz Foundation is tremendous.
Incredible.
Just this year alone, he gave away 9 scholarships to college worth $20,000 apiece.
That's
9 of them. He's been doing this for 20 years. That's a guy who's not from here, who came to Cincinnati, wasn't just a great football player, wasn't just a Hall of Fame football player, but has been somebody who's made a huge difference to our city.
Ashley, can you talk to him at all?
Yeah, we got Anthony here right now. Anthony, you look great up there. What are you guys doing here today? Tell us about the foundation.
Well, the foundation, this is our 22nd year, and there's about maybe 8 years that we've had a float. We have some of our scholarship recipients, some of our mentoring kids. We get a chance just to come up and recognize them, and it's a fun time, of course. How can that be fun here with this great Cincinnati fans?
All right, and so look at the weather. It's a beautiful day. What are you excited about with this Reds season?
1-0 tonight. That's it, one at a time. You got to win the first one, so I'll be there. My wife and I'll be there. That's what I'm excited. Let's go 1-0 after opening day.
Anthony, you've got some fans out here, just a few. Anthony always has time for his fans. Have a great day, Anthony, and have fun.
Thank you. You too. Good seeing you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Okay, Ashley, passing by our location right now, you see some of the Miss America candidates, Miss Indiana, Miss Ohio, Miss Kentucky, and former Miss America, Rob.
Heather French Henry.
Correct.
Who's married to the former lieutenant governor of Kentucky. A little thing here. We saw all those pageant winners pass by. These two know, I don't know if you guys know at home, but I host Miss Ohio USA, Miss Michigan USA, Miss Kentucky USA, and Miss Pennsylvania USA. And the one we crowned, Miss Kentucky USA, won the whole shebang, Miss USA, 2 years ago.
You've been doing that for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
25 years.
25 years.
As he laughs about it, understanding where has 25 years gone. But obviously you've done a good job with it and you've enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when you're not watching a show, you don't give it much credence, but these young ladies get scholarships. They launch careers, right? And so it's positive.
We talk about this all the time when Rob goes away and he takes the weekend and he does this in his spare time. By the way, you say it's not only about like what you look like. A lot more plays into it.
Correct. It's the whole package of beauty, right?
All right, let's talk about some legends here of Cincinnati football. I see David Fulcher on this. Trisha, you're one of your favorite people, Ken Anderson, on this float.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him. Look at that.
Let's see if
How
you can get
cool
one
would
up
it be
here.
to catch something
Ken
from Ken Anderson?
Ken Anderson, of course, does a lot of things.
It was a spiral, by the way. He just threw a little mini football, and it was a perfect spiral.
Nice.
There they are.
He's
some of the greats.
He does a lot.
Oh, Joe, you
I had a chance to catch a pass from Ken Anderson,
Oh,
and
man,
I
he's
missed
throwing
it.
good ones. There you go.
There you go.
Got it.
Nice.
touchdown.
He still got it.
Well done, sir.
Well, I mean, he does a lot.
It only took
for
3
autism.
times for me to catch it, but I caught a pass
Yeah, totally. That was great.
from Ken Anderson.
Let me tell you,
Bucket list.
that was fantastic.
I almost
hope
fell.
you got that view.
I was going for it.
I know.
If I had to fall to make that catch, I was going to take that hit.
And that's a story you can tell your kids when you get home.
And they'll be like, Dad, who?
Exactly.
It's not Joe Burrow, Dad. Who?
Exactly.
Ashley, so many legends here. It's unbelievable. Ashley, you there?
Surrounded by legends. I am here with the Bengals legends. Ken Anderson has an arm. What are you doing here today?
Well, I tell you what, this is my first opening day parade, and thanks to Smoothie King, we've got some footballs to throw out here a little bit.
This is your first. How is that possible?
I have no idea, but it is such an amazing event. It's unbelievable.
Well, and you got great weather for it too. Who else do you have on this float?
Well, we got Louis Breeden and David Fulcher and Jim Kelly, Kevin Walker. I think that's everybody we got right here.
I talked to Dave Fulcher during the Bengals run. You guys are so more relevant now. It feels like now that the Bengals are good again, and you guys get to talk about the good old days. What's it been like in this past year or so?
Well, it's been fun, and like I say, it's the Bengals are good again, and when we played. We were good, and people kind of forgot about that. So it's like I said, the excitement in the city. Obviously we've got it for opening day, but what we saw during the football season as well.
All right, you guys have so much fun, and again, he can throw that ball. You've got an arm, as we all already knew. It's getting crowded out here too, so we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Ashley. Keep hunting down all the celebrities in the parade. We want to mention this band. This is the Wilberforce University Marching Band. 147 members. It's the nation's oldest privately, historically black college and university, an HBCU, and this is their first marching band season, but they did perform at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Let's take a listen. They're performing Having a Party by Luther Vandross.
Impressive.
Yeah, I mean, if you know anything about an HBCU, their marching band is the school's calling card, right?
Yes.
That's why you not only hear this music, you feel it.
So that's the great way to put it, right. Rob. You feel it. And the energy that this brought to the crowd was something we haven't seen from any of the first 30 floats that have gone by. And you're right, a lot of times at sporting events in the South, when you go to an HBCU game, they're the show. The football game is great, whatever. Then you get to halftime, and the show starts when the band hits the field.
Talent, man. That is complete talent. Do you think the drum line back here?
That was incredible.
I love it.
Hopefully, they'll be back for many, many more years to come.
Now we're going to get into some of the food that is on the parade route. The Gibbs cheese float is coming by, and then here come the Friends of Findlay Market. And there's a reason this is called the Findlay Market Opening Day Parade, because of the so many people with that organization that help make this happen year in and year out. And look at the colors on this, and it looks like there's someone performing music right there on top of the float as well. This is the Friends of the Findlay Market float.
Remember when a hot dog was 25 cents? Everybody stand up and shout, "Go Reds!"
Well, the energy is picked up, right? The band came through, and now we got more performers, and anybody that can interact with the crowd and get the crowd going, I think is a great addition to the.
You saw on the top of that, it's been around since 1852. It's still here today. There are very few things in this country that predate the Civil War.
You know, and that was perfect timing as he was coming past us right there and getting the crowd involved. Completely perfect.
The next two floats coming through, the Fab Ferments. The Fab Ferments is a certified organic raw cultured veggie and beet kvass company that Rob is looking at me like he has something to add here, because of course you do.
Because do you see that right there as kimchi on the front?
Yep.
I've had their kimchi before, and it's fantastic. Kimchi, if you don't know, is like the Korean version of sauerkraut, just a wee bit more spicy.
Now, if you grew up in this area and you were a beer drinker, though, you have had to try Wiedemann's beer back in the day, right? First brewed in Newport, Kentucky, the brewery over there in 1870.
So if you look around in Over the Rhine, you see many buildings that once produced beer, including one of the few Jewish beers in the country that was produced. And now that's coming back in terms of they're producing more beer in Over the Rhine once again.
Yeah, that Wiedemann's parade entry right there, that's a horse-drawn delivery wagon that used to be on the streets of downtown Cincinnati, Newport, and Covington during the gas rationing back in the 1940s. We're going to take a quick break, but plenty more of the Findlay Market opening day parade, just a couple minutes.
The Findlay Market Opening Day Parade is sponsored by Izzy's, Aquaproof, OrthoSensi, and
welcome back to Fox 19 Now's continuing coverage of the 104th Findlay Market Opening Day Parade with Rob Williams and Tricia Mackey. I'm Joe Daneman. For another segment here of the Opening Day Parade, I hear a band behind us, guys.
Yes.
I believe this is the Mount St. Joseph Band, and you get a different kind of energy once the band starts showing up here in the opening day parade.
And honestly, because it's such a beautiful day here, people are excited for the spring and a new season, Cincinnati Reds. People are just lined up. I mean, really, how many people do you think are here? I couldn't even begin to count them.
I could not tell you, but the one thing that I noticed this year as I was walking from 4th Street to Race and Liberty, Washington Park was jam-packed, full of people, a sea of red, kids running around, losing their minds. They even had a live band. And to show you how far Cincinnati has come, all the restaurants now that are lined along the parade route have seating outside and drink specials and food specials. Before, we didn't see that because there weren't many restaurants that were in this area of town.
Yeah, like on Race Street, just to give you some perspective, it's probably anywhere between 5 to 10 people deep all along the sidewalks. They're jam-packed.
And it wasn't like this last year. I know last year it was overcast. It was temperate. It was fine outside, but it was overcast. I think the idea of not a cloud in the sky and the start of baseball season has added to what I think is one of the bigger crowds I can remember here for the opening day parade.
I thought we were going to get closer to making this an actual holiday in Cincinnati. So far, it hasn't happened.
I think most people would welcome it to make it an official holiday for the city of Cincinnati.
Yeah, and a lot of kids lucky enough to be on spring break, and they are lining these streets as well. And seeing so many really, really neat things as that bubble just gets me right in the eye.
And if it was an official holiday, Tricia, like Joe Danneman would have been able to come down here as a kid, but his parents did not allow him to get out of school.
Well, it's probably because he only caught 1 out of 4 footballs from Kenny
Anderson.
That's
a thing now, right? Apparently that was caught on video.
I'm never good in math, but it was 25%, Jody.
So if you didn't see it about 10 to 15 minutes ago, Ken Anderson was throwing passes, little mini footballs from his float. He was trying to throw them to us. I was trying to make the catch. I only caught 1 of 4. As I said, I'm not Jamar Chase. I'm not Jamar Chase. I can't do the gritty. I can't catch passes like Jamar, but I did catch 1.
Correct.
That's all that matters.
And the thing is in your effort, you almost fell off the stage.
I did. I was going for it for Fox 19. Apparently it was caught on video, and it's going on our Facebook page. So, hey, have as much fun you want with me, make fun of me, it's all good. I can take it. I caught a pass.
I was thinking about I needed a new profile pic on my social media. It's going to be really easy to get Joe on one of the misses, so I'm going to have to do that. Hey, look at right behind us right now is the Oak Hills High School Highlander Marching Band, 120 members strong. It's their 35th year participating in the opening day parade. They are going to be performing at Disney World in Orlando coming up in December, and they're going to be playing Oh Highlanders right now, if you can listen in just for a moment.
That's a tremendous sound for a high school band.
I agree.
It really is.
And there are a lot of members of that band. If you know anything about Oak Hills High School, it's so enormous that the school has 3 principals, that's how large that school is on the west side of town.
So you mean when you get sent to the principal's office, you could just say, I'm sorry, you didn't ever have to go because I got lost. Or, oh, I was at the other ones, right?
I do think it's cool that we see a lot of these high school bands, and we'll see more as the parade continues, that these band members get to perform at really big-time events all over the country. You mentioned it. Oak Hills will be playing in Disney World in Orlando in December. There's other bands who are traveling different parts of the country. For them to get a chance to display their talent, their work at big events like this, I think has to be a lifetime experience for those band members.
Oh, absolutely. Because the great thing about this parade is that it's inclusive. You have bands from major universities and from high schools as well.
And they sound equally good, to be honest with you. I mean, that high school band sounds just as good as the college band.
They really did sound good.
It sounded great.
This float passing by, go ahead. Yeah, you saw the Chick-fil-A float going by. They didn't throw us any sandwiches. I'm disappointed in that. And now we are on to the Wheeland Builders float, the family-owned and operated custom home builder. And after that, I see some live animals. This must be the Rodeo Farm. They'll have, is that a little pony in front?
Yep.
carrying a little carriage. Now we see some of the big horses carrying the big carriages. It's nice to see a smaller, pint-sized one going by with little kids in the back. That kid has to be having the time of his life, or he's asleep, I can't tell. The Rodeo Farm, he might be sleeping. You know what? Like all of us, with kids, if they're having a bad day, you throw them in the back of the car, you go for a drive, it puts them to sleep. You throw them in the opening day parade, put them in the back of a horse-drawn carriage, and they go to sleep.
His head was
whatever
bopping,
works,
like
just going back and forth.
That's great.
And the other thing I want to point out is the amount of kids out here is incredible. We see two of them on the back of that horse.
That's pretty
in
impressive.
the saddle, absolutely.
Coming up next will be the iHeartRadio entry. I see their truck coming up, and then the Lebanon High School Marching Band after that. But first, let's check in with Ashley Smith on the ground in the parade. Hey, Ashley.
Hey guys, I spaced out for a bit just enjoying it myself, but we're here with the Newport Aquarium. Matt, you have a bubble gun. Oh my gosh, look at the bubbles. So when they come your way, guys, you'll have to be in a sea of bubbles. It's like we're at the aquarium. You guys are having fun too. You're dancing, you've got octopus on your head. Tell me about what fun it is today here at opening day.
It's so much fun. We look forward to opening day every single day. We're wishing the Reds a shark-cessful new year. But so much fun. We're bringing the aquarium to the streets with Sparky Shark up here, named after Sparky Anderson, and all the bubbles to make you feel like you're underwater.
So tell me about making this float. I mean, were you part of that? Tell me about the whole process.
Yeah, we put months of work into this to make sure it's something different. This year, Sparky has a brand new custom fabricated Reds hat up there, perfectly sized to fit a 16-foot great white shark.
I love it. Okay, and beautiful weather, lots of kids out here. Who are you trying to get to come to the aquarium, I guess, with this event?
It's, we love Cincinnati because it's such a family area. All the families that are out here today, that's everybody. We see their smiling faces all the time at the aquarium, so it's great to see them out here in Cincy.
All right, well, we're going to send it. Aquarium comes through. You guys will notice all the bubbles. It's quite the scene. Back to you guys.
We are listening to the Lebanon High School Marching Band, 113 members strong. They sound great. Hear for yourself.
We talked about all these high school bands and getting a chance to perform at big-time events, not just the opening day parade, but outside of the Cincinnati area. The Lebanon High School Band in 2021 played at the 2021 Bands of America Grand Nations in Indianapolis. And they placed top 70 in the country at that event. So we don't just play good football in Cincinnati. We play good music, too.
Absolutely.
And the high school kids are showing that today here
One of their
at the
go-to
opening
songs,
day parade.
One of our favorites, Cheeseburger
Oh, Cheeseburger in Paradise.
by Jimmy Buffett.
I love that. Of course they're from this area.
Of course.
So let's go to Ashley, who's caught up with George Foster.
All right, so we are here with Big Reds machine member George Foster. George, beautiful day out here. What do you look forward to about opening day?
Oh, it's always fun for me in the parade, seeing all the Reds fans here and all the kids enjoying themselves and the good weather today.
You do have a lot of kids here. What's it like to see all these young people excited about baseball?
It is great because we have a couple of teams that are here, been in the parade. I mean, it's great to see that they're enjoying the game, getting back into the game, and that's the heartbeat of America, the kids.
What's it like, for people that have never been down here to opening day, and we say, it's an unofficial holiday, there's nothing like it. Do you think that's true? Is it so unique in MLB, this opening day?
Well, that's the word. It's very unique, and you have to come down to see. You can read about it or see it on TV, but come down and experience. It's something that you would never will forget.
George, have a great day and enjoy the weather. Guys, back to you.
You talk about ambassadors for the city of Cincinnati. We talked about Anthony Munoz and how much he has done for this community and how he's just a go-to person. He's just a fine individual. George Foster's also one of those unspoken heroes, honestly. He is at events like this all of the time as well. And if you ever needed anything from like a a former Cincinnati Reds star, he's the guy to go to.
Well, and we just saw Buddy LaRosa pass by. Talk about another Cincinnati ambassador.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did he start the restaurant here locally, and it's all in stores in terms of the sauce and products, he also, through boxing, gives back to the community over and over again, because boxing is the thing that gave him his start in terms of starting a successful career.
And on top of that, the LaRosa's High School Hall of Fame is a big deal. Look, we know how big high school sports are in Cincinnati. For him to honor some of the great names of the past, I'm honored to be on the committee that gets to vote every year for who makes it to the Hall of Fame. And for the first time this year, humbled, excited, I get to be the MC of the High School Hall of Fame Day for LaRosa's and their program. It was always, for the longest time, it was Denny Jansen. Denny Jansen did it forever. Denny's now stepped down from it. He asked me if I'd like to do it. I said, are you kidding? I got big shoes to fill, but for the first time this summer, I get to be the host of the Buddy LaRosa's High School Hall of Fame Day. I can't wait.
Hey,
congratulations. I think that's outstanding.
We're talking about Joe's bucket list. They're all coming true.
Now I just need to catch more passes.
Yeah.
And not drop 3 before I drop 1. It's okay.
Yeah, too bad you can't get another shot at that.
You talked about George Foster, and we see some youth baseball players coming by right now. And we know George Foster isn't just someone who shows up to events and, waves at the crowd and makes his presence. When the West Side All-Stars made the Little League World Series championship game a couple of years ago, they had a big celebration back at their field to put up the big banner in the outfield that they had made it all the way to the championship game. Marty Brennaman was there, George Foster was there, and I was asking people, why is George Foster here? He said, well, he just doesn't want to support local baseball. He actually helped coach a lot of those kids with personal swinging lessons. So that's a guy who's giving back to what he knows. A former MVP, a guy who hit 50 home runs in the Big Red Machine, working with a lot of these kids. And when you see those kids hit home runs in Williamsport and in the Little League World Series, you understand that, okay, George Foster had something to do with this. I think it's cool as you see the little kids walk by in their baseball uniforms, knowing guys like George Foster had given back to the Cincinnati area. That's another guy.
Foster used to walk into batting cages, random batting cages, and he would just be there and he would help kids
out,
with their swings. And it wasn't one of those things where, you're trying to get paid or you're doing a side gig. He's just a good person that wants to help out young kids.
And I think when he sees those kids play the way they did at the Little League World Series, it has to be rewarding for him. And we've talked so much about Anthony Munoz and there's so many other former athletes that have stayed in Cincinnati and given back to Cincinnati. You got to put George Foster right up there with some of those guys. David Fulcher, when he went by as well. There's another guy that isn't from Cincinnati who stayed in Cincinnati. He's made a big difference here.
Icky Woods.
Absolutely.
I went up and interviewed him. Trisha was kind enough to set up an interview and give me his phone number. So I interviewed him about the Bengals' success. And I said, why didn't you ever leave town? He goes, this is my home, right? And this is where I'm known, and this is where I'm loved. And I think people who are transplants like me, you don't think you're gonna stay, but I've been here 27 years now, and the reason why is when you hug Cincinnati, Cincinnati hugs you right back, right? And I think people who decide to stay here feel that over and over and over again.
There's been a great revival of Icky Woods, too, here in the last few years as the Bengals have gone to the AFC Championship and to the Super Bowl. He was right there on the field when the Bengals won in Kansas City 2 years ago with his big B around his neck, handing the trophy over. So good for Icky to have this kind of revival because we all know Icky Woods. But any kid under the age of 14, 15 might not know him, but now they do because of this revival of one of Cincinnati's great characters.
Including those commercials that he made appearances in just a few years back.
Get your cold cuts. Get your cold cuts. Yes, the shuffle was back.
Yeah,
it was great.
All right, so you're going to be looking at the East Central dance team from Indiana. They consist of elementary, junior high, and high school competitive dance teams. 56 dancers. They range, as you can see from their faces, from 4th grade all the way up until the 12th grade. And they're also going to be defending their 3rd showcase national grand champion title this upcoming weekend. So we want to say good luck to you.
Not just the dance team. I see a lot of guys in football jerseys. They won the state championship this last year. Yes, the Trojans. They are state champions in Class 4A, had a phenomenal season. And kind of like here in Ohio and Kentucky, where we send our teams to play in these big-time events for the state championship game. Kentucky, they play down at UK. In Ohio, they play up at the Hall of Fame. They played at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the Class 4A state title, and they dominated in the state championship.
Is that right? That's a big venue.
The thing is, people understand that high school football is big in Texas. There have been shows about it. Why do you think high school football is so big around here?
Just the culture, and it's been passed down. It's just what we do and what we do well. And you start looking at, and I don't want to dive too much into high school football and recruiting rankings, but you look at recruiting rankings all over the country. We know Texas, Florida, California, Georgia. I'll put the Ohio area, and I'll lump in Northern Kentucky and our part of Indiana as well. This area has to be one of the top 10 recruiting areas in the entire country. It's how UC is great. It's why Ohio State is great. Notre Dame comes down here and recruits in Cincinnati as well. So for these kids to have a chance here to walk in the opening day parade, I think is great because they had a phenomenal season, won their third ever state championship
And right behind them is the East Central Trojan Band and Guard, also from Indiana. 19 brass, 17 woodwinds, 12 percussion, 14 guard members, but who's counting, right? They're going to be playing the fight song, and they're going to be competing in the Indiana Percussion Association State Championship, which is also this weekend. So let's listen into them.
How big of a school is East Central? Because they represent with dancers, the football team, the band, the flags in the back. I mean, there are a lot of people here.
Massive.
Okay.
I went up there last year before their state championship game. They're still adding wings onto their campus. It looks like a college campus.
Their display is 3 blocks long, honestly. Ashley, you're in the middle of all of it.
Yeah, so we're here with Josh. He's on the football team, but it seems like your entire school is here today, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, tell me about you guys. You had a very successful football season. You won the state championship. Tell me about the season and what it's like to now celebrate.
It was just a great season. Had fun with all my best friends playing football, and it just feels great to celebrate out here in a great atmosphere in Cincinnati.
Is this your first opening day parade? What's it like so far? You're just at the beginning.
It's amazing. There's a wonderful atmosphere, tons of crazy red fans here. It's awesome here.
What's it like to have such support? I mean, you've got the band, the dance team, you guys. I mean, there's so much support here for your school.
It's awesome. Our school shows endless support to all of our teams, and we just love it.
All right, what are you looking forward to? You get to go around Washington Park and then down to Fountain Square. What are you looking forward to most about today?
I just love seeing all the fans, how excited everyone is to be out here.
Thank you, Josh, and good luck and have fun today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, that's from St. Leon East Central football team. Back to you guys.
2 quick notes about Josh. First of all, Josh Ringer set a state record with 4 touchdowns in that state championship game. So Ashley didn't know she was talking to a celebrity. By the way, East Central also perfect colors for today, black and red. They didn't have to change a thing.
Now, what is he doing next? Do you know?
He's coming back. He was only a junior. He's got a senior year to go out there and beat his own record.
You might be covering him for a long time. Let's talk about the Ronald McDonald House. If you've had any kind of interaction with Cincinnati Children's Hospital or any sick child or any families that come from all over the world, actually, because if a child's sick, the Ronald McDonald House is the largest in the world here in Cincinnati. It can care for 177 families every night. That includes the parents, the children that are receiving the treatment, their siblings, any other family members. And that is so critical, especially for these families that are flying in out of town. We just did a story the other day on a family that came in town from California.
Because when you're taking care of a patient, especially if that patient is a child, you're not just taking care of that child or patient, you're taking care of the entire family, and this is one way to do that.
This is the Joe Nuxall Foundation coming through. You talk about Cincinnati legends. Joe Nuxall is right there on the Mount Rushmore of most important baseball people ever to come through Cincinnati.
Well, his catchphrase is written on the outside of Great American Ballpark. That's how iconic he is.
And let's talk about the Joe Nuxall Miracle League field. I mean, that is something that a lot of individuals, you don't think about. How all of these children with disabilities want to play baseball, and he made that a reality. You guys have been there.
Yes.
It is just an amazing place that he started, and his son continues today.
Yeah, that's part of the Joe Nuxall legacy. It wasn't just him being the youngest player ever to play Major League Baseball. It wasn't just the rounding third and heading for home. That's
not
at
just
Great
the
American
statue
Ballpark.
outside.
It's not just the statue and the iconic voice. It's a legacy, and that's the legacy project, not only of him, but his son, Kim Nuxall, as well. That's a Nuxall legacy project, and again, of all the things Cincinnati does well, that's certainly one right up there with what should be celebrated on a day like today here in Cincinnati, and it is being celebrated at the opening day parade.
Perhaps we are listening to the Lynchburg Clay Marching Band right here. Hey! Do you like that?
Hey, yeah, the crowd is getting into it as well.
You can't listen to that without saying hey.
I know.
Ashley, hey! What's up?
Hey! All right, so we are here with Joe Nuxall Foundation. So you're here with a bunch of kids, which is what it's all about, right? So tell me about, and you're holding these signs. Kind of tell me about the theme of your kind of float here.
So what we're doing today is spreading the word of good character through the Joe Nuxall Character Foundation. Our students are from Madison Elementary School up in Middletown. We talk about the virtues. A virtue behavior is always good. So we're talking about bravery, attentiveness, caring, and love. And we're here today to pass it on with all of our students.
So how old are these kids that we see here right now?
So we got kindergartners all the way up to 5th grade. So we're looking anywhere from 5-year-old to 11.
Why is it important to get them interested at this age in these things, these patience, attentiveness, all of that, and the game of baseball too, of course?
Well, the most important thing is how do we continue to make things better? And we do that through character education. Getting excited about a program, getting excited about being here today is just part of the growth.
What about the weather here today?
Oh, beautiful day today to be a Reds fan, right? Heck yeah. We're blessed to have the good weather today.
All right, and you have fun at the game and enjoy the parade.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
So that's Joe Nuxall Foundation again, kind of building this character. Look at all these kids, so excited to be on TV. Guys, back to you.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much. I do want to once again just talk about how beautiful the weather is. It's starting to get even a little bit steamy out here. This is like better than we could have hoped for in terms of the weather.
Rob says it's getting steamy. I'm like, yeah, it's getting a little bit.
Yeah, Trisha's going through her bag looking for her gloves. Just passing by us was the Little Miami High School Marching Band. The Little Miami Marching Panther Band is a show-style band that enjoys, as you can see, playing for a crowd. 74 total band members. They're going to light up the opening day parade route as we continue today.
One thing I really like is, so we're 60 floats in or so right now, not even halfway through the opening day parade right now, but the energy that keeps coming through is unmatched, really. I mean, all of these floats are just getting started.
I agree.
And the people on the streets are the same way. They're not getting bored. You look around here and the energy is still just, it is showing on all of the little kids' faces. Everybody's still jumping around. Everybody's still waving their pom-poms. It's a good feel down here.
So if you're at home and you have any affiliation to a local high school band, college band, and you're watching this, get in this next year because the bands make such a big difference to the energy. We've seen it go by. Every time a band comes through, it really starts to pick up with the energy. And I love to see there's so many different varieties of bands that we've seen. We've seen big, we've seen small, we've seen high school, we've seen college, and now we're seeing, now this makes me think of Field of Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
During the summer last year, which was, you talk about bucket list, this was one of the great events that I got to cover last year. And I'll share a quick story about the Field of Dreams experience because Jeremy and I and Frank Marzullo all went up there to cover that event. We would have loved to have taken our dads. Frank brought his dad, which was awesome.
I saw that.
But they have a really cool tradition that I learned about last year, and I posted this to my Facebook page, that if you're not there with your family, They ask you to write all your family members on a baseball, write a note to them, take a video of you then taking that baseball and throwing it into the corn. So it's forever there and a part of it. So I wrote one for my dad, my brothers, my mom, my sister, all my family members, all my kids on a baseball and threw it into the corn. So the Danneman family is forever in the corn in Iowa. So if you ever go, and I recommend going to the Field of Dreams, don't go there during the week of the Field of Dreams game, which was a great event. It was an awesome event. But go there on a Tuesday in May or a Wednesday in August when no one's there and just enjoy it, because it is such a different experience than you can ever imagine. They let you go do everything. You can walk on the field, you can run the bases, you can go in the corn. I really recommend any baseball fan watching this on opening day to make their way to Iowa to check out the Field of Dreams, because it is worth it.
We have much more straight ahead right here from the 104th Reds Opening Day Parade. We'll see you later.
Welcome back to one of the most exciting days in Cincinnati. It's gorgeous weather, and it's the excitement of the Reds opening day parade.
And it's also the excitement of baseball being back. I got to geek out on baseball a little bit at some point, right?
Exactly.
It can't just be all opening day parade. The sports guys got to talk about baseball. Reds and Pirates today, and I'll say this. I'm glad we're on camera here because I want it on the record, okay? We all know the expectations for this team this year. I'm going to say it right here on the record. I think the Reds overachieve. I do. People think they're going to win 65, 67 games. Look, I know it's not going to move the needle if the Reds win 74 or 75, but I think Cincinnati wants to see some progress this year. I think if the Reds do win somewhere in the mid-70s in games, that'll be progress going forward. And then following year, they can start to try to make their way back towards the playoffs.
But the short-term goal is to come out of the starting gate and start winning games.
Got it.
You need momentum.
Yes, because last year, remember, 3-22.
Yeah,
they started the year 3-22, and the whole season was just buried in negativity after that. So the Reds have a chance here with the Pirates, who are not expected to be good, and then the Cubs after that, who aren't expected to be a good team either this year. Everybody can surprise. We get that. But the Reds do have 6 games out of the starting blocks to go out there and try to win 3, maybe 4, and capture just a little bit of momentum and keep Cincinnati interested here at least through April, because last year after April, the season was done.
We just saw our sister city, Kharkiv in Ukraine. Cincinnati and Kharkiv became sister cities in 1989. Mayor Charlie Lukin signed the documents uniting the two cities.
So Rob and Joe, in just a little bit, just a minute or two, you are going to see an unbelievable, another marching band. This is going to be the Ross High School Marching Band. 88 marchers are going to be coming up. You're going to see them in just a moment. Hopefully they're in your view right now. 29 woodwinds, 28 brass, 25 percussion, 9 guard, 3 drum majors, 2 banner carriers. We just wanted to say that they're also going to be traveling to New York City in April. They're going to be touring all of the major tourist attractions while they perform at the USS Intrepid in Manhattan. They're going to be playing Ghost Riders in the Sky.
It's impressive how organized, well-coached, disciplined these high school bands are. These kids are in perfect formation. They look great. And you're right, we've talked about all these bands, and we'll take them here momentarily when they start playing. All these bands are playing these big competitions. This has to be a great trial run for them, to be in front of this great crowd, to be on TV, to have themselves in a position here where they're playing under just a little bit of pressure with people watching before they go to their competition.
Let's listen in.
Joe, I know you were geeking out about, it being summer and spring and sports and res, all this kind of stuff, but nothing says the sunshine, springtime, summertime more than jump ropes. I mean, just an all-time favorite of every single kid right here. This is the Sherwood Elementary Rappin' Ropes. They're an elementary school team. It's 2nd to 6th graders. They're from Sherwood Elementary in the Forest Hills School District, and they all brought their jump ropes today and doing tricks. Look at this little one with like the 1 foot hopping up and down.
There were some on the ground. How do they do that?
Yeah.
I guess when you're 10 years old, you can do that.
You're very limber, right?
And you're very, bendy. I always say you're very bendy.
But I do remember, they come every year because I remember them jumping rope year after year after year.
Could you still do that?
Can I still jump rope?
Yeah.
Like a boxer?
Oh, yeah. The quick stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can still jump rope.
Now, you know what my follow-up is to that. You got to prove it.
What's that?
You got to prove it. I hope you can jump rope better than he catches a football.
I can take it.
I know,
okay.
me too. Don't worry about it.
I can take it.
She builds up a callus. You know what I mean? Just like going, that doesn't bother me.
Did you jump rope as a kid, Trisha?
Yeah, sure.
Like competitively?
No.
Did you do any tricks?
No,
like that?
We just would do it to stay in shape, or just because it was fun. You sidewalk chalk, you have some jump ropes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing Greater Cincinnati Waterworks. It has been owned by the city and operated since it was purchased by the city of Cincinnati in 1839.
Oh, they got a DJ too.
And we remember catching up with Waterworks a lot after that train derailed to see what was going to happen when some of those chemicals ended up in the Ohio River. And they decided to actually shut off the inflow because if you didn't know, we get our water, drinking water, from the Ohio River.
And what's an opening day parade without beautiful horses? We've seen several of those coming through so far on the opening day parade.
We're close enough that you can see the size of these horses.
Absolutely
these guys
gorgeous.
That are walking right alongside, maybe 6'1", and
they tower over them.
Tower.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, the Purcell Marion Lady Calves. Okay, name to remember here, guys. D. Alexander, Dee Alexander is a sophomore for the Purcell Marion basketball team. And let's talk about the whole team first, because they just won their second consecutive state championship, and they're bringing the state championship trophy here on the opening day parade route. They might win it 2 more times, because their sophomore, Dee Alexander, is ranked as the #2 sophomore in the country. She won Miss Basketball as a sophomore. She's unbelievable. She's going to have a pick of wherever she wants to go in college. She is going to be a WNBA player. She is a superstar in the making, and she's a reason this team right now might go on to win 2 more state titles after doing it her first 2 years here in high school.
And Joe, when you did that profile piece on her, she's also a well-spoken, modest young lady as well, as they are carrying their hardware from 2 state champs along with their coach.
I love having the high school state championship teams be recognized on the opening day parade.
Yeah.
Because as much as this is a celebration of spring and Cincinnati and history, this is also a sports day. So let's go ahead and honor all the teams who have done amazing things. We saw the East Central football team, now the Purcell Marion girls. We also had the Princeton girls win a state championship as well. So a big time season for local high school girls basketball. And we've seen women's basketball. This March has become top of the list when it comes to sports watching with the women's NCAA tournament. It's been a great thing.
Hey, Ashley, I can still see you in my vantage point. I don't know if you can see us, but I know you're standing next to the basketball team, and I want you to soak in the fact that right now you're taller than most of those girls, and that's not going to be the case very soon. I don't know if you had an opportunity to grab any of those unbelievable basketball players over there. Go ahead, Ashley.
Keep walking. Oh yeah, we're getting in trouble. What's it like to be here today?
It's really good. You know, it's like an honor.
Yeah, to be. All these people are here cheering for you, and what are you guys looking forward to about the rest of the day?
Just to eat. She said eat. Just to have fun and celebrate our back-to-back championship, of course.
What's it been like so far? Have people been cheering you on?
Yes, a lot. Oh yeah.
Feel like?
It feels great. I feel very important right now.
You are important. Congratulations, ladies, and enjoy the day.
So the Flying Pig float just went by, and I'm wondering why Ashley's not on the Flying Pig and why you're not on the Flying Pig float. How many times did you do it?
Oh, north of 10.
Yeah.
But the thing about the Flying Pig Marathon is it quickly became one of the best organized races in the country, and the Flying Pig Marathon is harder to run than Boston.
Why so?
Heartbreak Hill in Boston is what everybody complains about.
Sure.
When you train in Cincinnati, that's nothing, because there are hills everywhere.
And it's a Boston Marathon qualifier, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
But you know, you talk about the age of Flying Pig. It's not that old to have picked up that much momentum.
Exactly. And now it consistently sells out. There aren't enough spaces for people to keep running it.
And the great thing about the Boston Marathon, or excuse me, the Flying Pig Marathon, is you don't have to run the marathon to participate. They have a 5K, they have a 10K, they have a half marathon. So if you want to be involved in one of the great marathons, you can do it.
And kind of like the parade, you can just come out and cheer people on.
Joe, let's
see
Cincinnati,
yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ashley's down there with, is that Omar Cummings with you? Yeah, right up there in front. Ashley, let's go to you.
Well, I don't know about that. I think you're the superstar. FC Cincinnati is having a great season.
Fantastic season.
How exciting is it for you?
Awesome. You know, obviously previous years we haven't done so well. Now to have this team behind us and the fans behind us having a great time, winning, scoring goals, getting points. We're second in the standings right now. Fantastic.
I see you, though, hyping up the people behind you. I mean, what's it like to be out here today and have all these people cheering for you?
Yeah, see the city come out, they like this. Even it's a Reds parade, we support the Reds, support our teams in Cincinnati. But it's just awesome to see the fans come out, supporting. The city comes alive when something like this goes on.
You know, we also really love your new stadium. It's fun to go to a game there. What's it like to play at TQL Stadium?
Sublime. You know, the fans are amazing. One of the best in MLS, best in the league.
I mean, the Bailey, it's unbeaten.
Bailey's, right? The stadium is one of the best in the world. Can't complain, right? And it's just an awesome, awesome feeling, especially when you're having success, coming playing for Cincinnati. Fantastic.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Okay, Ashley, he mentioned that it being one of the best in the world, our new stadium, TQL Stadium. He's not wrong. It's literally one of the best soccer stadiums in the entire world. Undefeated FC Cincinnati right after 5 games. Let's hype up how well they're playing. Next 2 games are at home starting this Saturday. Inter Miami comes to Cincinnati to play the undefeated Orange and Blue.
Well, and the other thing too is, even when this team played at UC, its fan base was so committed. This team was like shot out of a bullet.
Correct.
It caught fire so fast.
And let's all be honest, they would not be in Major League Soccer this quickly without the fan base. The country took notice of what Cincinnati was doing. The movement of soccer in Cincinnati helped move FC Cincinnati to where they are now. Look, you don't get there without Carl Lidner and the group pushing it forward and the work they did to get Major League Soccer to Cincinnati as soon as they did. But if you don't fill up Nippert Stadium, if you don't have a fan base that's pushing this and creating a movement like they did in Cincinnati, this might not be happening right now. Not only are they a Major League Soccer team, they're a major player. They're right now second in the standings in the Eastern Conference, undefeated after 5 games. Hey, we just got a shout out. King Records, Rob. This
Rob
is your
Williams.
time to shine.
Cue Rob Williams, right?
If you don't know anything about King Records started here in Cincinnati, and he mentioned Bootsy Collins. You see Bootsy Collins and his wife, Patty, on the float as well. Bootsy Collins came in off the street to play bass for James Brown, and that's what started his career. Bootsy Collins, who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because he's probably the best person to ever pick up a bass. That's Bootsy Collins, that's King Records, and I'm glad its history is being recaptured by people in this town. It's in Evanston, and I'll tell you guys a story. I used to get my hair cut at Alicia's in Evanston in the King Records building, but I had no idea because the history was so lost.
How about that?
It's one of my favorite parts every year of the opening day parade is the Rob Williams King Records historical preservation moment. And you know so much about it, and I don't think a lot of people do, and I'm glad every year you get that 30 seconds to a minute to tell us more about it.
I love history, and I love that history, and of course I love Cincinnati history.
So you guys, we're going to be coming up on Jacksonville Band, 64 members. This is another one. We talk about like the colors and the uniforms and how well they're all spaced and how good they sound. That honestly, you know, we talk about sports teams all the time and how, you know, sports teams have to put in so many hours a week. We don't really talk about these band members, these marching bands, and the ones that go to, you know, support all of these sports teams and all of the hours they have to put in as well.
I try every Friday night when I'm out shooting high school games, whether it's football, more often football with bands, and also high school basketball sometime as well, to get as many shots of the band as I can, because I'll get notes, emails, phone calls from parents just thanking us for putting, even if it's a 2-second clip of their kids on television, because you're right, Tricia, they work so many hours to look this good and sound this good, and I'm glad they get a chance here at the opening day parade for so many people to see their talent, their hard work on display. And it's been several bands that have gone by because they add so much energy to the opening day parade with their sound, their formation, and their passion for what they're doing.
And, you know, Tricia, this isn't the biggest band we've seen today, but this school, Jacksonville, only has about 300 students, and 64 of them are in the band, which is incredible.
They say their end of the year concert's coming up on May 10th, and they would love for you to attend. You can go to their website, Jacksonville's website, and if you'd like to support them as well, just show up. You know, we were talking about FC Cincinnati a little bit earlier. One of the things that I love when Joe and Jeremy come into the studio and they tell me all these behind the scenes stuff. I'm always wanting to know what these players are like. What are they like in the locker room? What are they like when the camera's not on them? And really, because of COVID, you didn't have a big opportunity to do that with FC Cincinnati. And so now when Joe and Jeremy are getting an opportunity to talk to these guys, I'm constantly saying, well, who do you like? What are they like? And that's kind of a cool thing that you're going to be able to give us the behind the scenes look once again.
The behind the scenes with FC Cincinnati is a great thing because they are the most fashionable athletes of all the professional athletes here in town. We have hockey players, football players. The Bengals are pretty fashionable. Reds players, they do it so often every day. They just throw on some sweats and walk out. But the FC Cincinnati guys, they take time to look good. They fix their hair. Their hair styles are amazing because this is a global sport. A lot of these guys aren't from the United States,
Sure.
so we get all kinds of different fashions, cultures in that little room at TQL Stadium where these guys, after a game, they look great. And I walk out of there and say, well, here I am wearing the same thing for a week straight. These guys look good.
Could they compete with Stefano D, his outfits?
Yes, they could.
How about that?
Yes, they could.
Well, the thing is you see it in baseball. I mean, you have people from other countries, but specific countries. With soccer, they're from all over the world. How do they get over the language barrier?
Well, I think English dominates.
Okay.
So the guys learn enough English that they can get by. But they also have translators. We see it not only with FC Cincinnati, but the Reds as well. So if there is that language barrier, they do have translators there to help them if needed.
So the pretty ladies in the pink that you just saw, that was the Dance Flash Fusion out of Batavia, Ohio. And then you're also going to be watching the Crosby Elementary Unicycle Club. We're going to talk more about them because they are quite impressive as well. Another thing that we will never be able to do in this lifetime.
Let's catch up with Ashley because she's caught up with someone.
All right, so the music is very loud. Yeah, tell us about what you guys are doing here today.
So we're Dance Flash Fusion. We're a community dance group, and we're here to spread love and joy, all ages, through Cincinnati.
And you guys are dressed up kind of like League of Their Own, ladies, right?
Yeah, so we're Rockford Peaches. We want to celebrate women and women in baseball. It's still the Women's History Month, so we are all about it.
Okay, and I love that you guys have this choreographed dance. How long does it take to learn this?
You know, it takes a few weeks. We practice twice a week, and it's just, you can tell in their faces. It's super fun.
They look like they're having a blast. How many of you guys are out here today?
Today we have about 35. We're a group of typically 80.
Wow. Okay, and so are you guys going to play different music the whole time? What do people have to look forward to?
Yeah, we have a number of songs ready to hype up the crowd and celebrate baseball.
Wait, are you playing DJ as well?
Yes, I'm the DJ today.
I love it. All right, well, have fun and enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, we can learn a thing or two from their dance moves. They are great.
This unicycle club, Rob was just mentioning the streetcar.
I'm terrified when I see anyone on like a bicycle unicycle.
Right, and all of these kids are navigating it like pros because every time they keep going over the tracks, I hold my breath. I'm like, don't wipe out, don't wipe out. But did you see the ones that were super high?
Oh yeah.
They're like 8 feet high.
They were incredible. Also, they come back year after year after year. Oh, and this is Champions Grill, a staple on the west side of town.
You bet. After high school football games on Friday nights, Elder High School Champions is loaded with high school football fans.
That's the place to be.
Staple on the west side, absolutely.
Well, you can't miss this one. Tyson Foods and Conn's manufacture products like, Jimmy Dean, Ballpark, Hillshire Farm, Tyson Chicken, Wright Bacon, State, everything.
And Conn's, of course, has a long history here in Cincinnati. And I think it's Conn's, but they used to have a huge plant along Spring Grove Avenue. And that's been bought by Rheingeist. That's going to turn it into something new. So I love that we can hold on to our history while still looking ahead.
The band you're seeing right now is the White Oak High School Marching Band, a small band of about 25 members. But you can see they got energy, they got noise. 25 members, grades 8 through 12 from Highland County. The White Oak High School Marching Band, part of the Findlay Market opening day parade here in Cincinnati.
One of the sure signs of spring, we did this story just the other day on Fox 19. The tulips are in bloom at the Cincinnati Zoo. A great opportunity for you to go over there and have some photos with the kids, or your grandparents, or your family photos, anything at all, because everywhere you look, they're lined up. They do such a fantastic job because it's not just the zoo, it's the botanical garden as well.
Right, of course the zoo has a world-class reputation. And I remember before I moved to town, I was watching this show on FX called Breakfast Time, and they would send 5 reporters all over the country. One was sent here to Cincinnati because Cincinnati was named the country's sexiest zoo because of its program to reproduce animals, right? And so that was that. I knew that like before I came here, and it lives up to the hype and the expectation.
Now, when he said sexiest zoo, I'm thinking, how are you going to bring that back around, Rob? Are you sure you didn't misquote some show that you were watching, you know, late at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're on Netflix?
They really do a good job in terms of that program.
Actually, it's the second oldest zoo in the whole United States. Did you know that?
Can you believe that?
Yeah, opened up in 1875.
Well, 1875 to the 1860s, this is the Cincinnati Vintage Baseball Club. I see these guys down at Great American Ballpark all the time taking pictures with fans because everybody wants to get their picture with the old Red Stockings uniforms. These guys don't just wear the uniforms, they perform, they play in these uniforms, they tour all over the tri-state area. It's a great way to learn some of the history of Cincinnati baseball because we wear it as a badge of honor here in Cincinnati of having the oldest Major League Baseball franchise starting in the 1860s, and the Vintage Baseball Club gets to show that on display every year, and they do a great job with it.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, and that's also an opportunity. If you get that chance to go down there and just walk around and hear some history and read some history about the Reds, you'd be really impressed.
And the other thing too is, you know, it went from Red Stockings to Reds to Red Legs back to Reds. The reason why they had that small time in the middle where they were called the Red Legs is because of the Cold War, and they felt like the Reds was to Soviet Union.
Right.
This is the Cincinnati Circus Company coming up here. You can see the guys. Oh, and the big stilts. Now, have you guys heard of the Savannah Bananas?
Nope.
The Savannah Bananas, the Florence Y'alls are playing them this year. That popped into my mind because I'm seeing baseball and I'm seeing stilts. This is, you got to look them up and find out more about them because they'll have guys go up to the plate. It's like a circus on a baseball field. Guys go up to the plate on stilts. They'll have flaming bats. They'll do TikTok dances between pitches. You got to check it out.
Yeah, so this is just the Florence Y'alls like thing that they just do just to, I know they've done a lot of things, like a lot.
So they do a lot of
to get people in.
promotions, yes, to get people in, but this organization in Savannah has taken it to a different level where it's a literal circus on a field. Florence is playing them this year for the first time. They sell out every game down in Savannah. But I saw stilts and saw baseball, and it jogged my memory here of the Cincinnati Circus Company here performing at the Hall of Fame and the Reds opening day parade.
Coming up next is Young Guns Equestrian, 4-H members from Burlington riding their horses. And, you know, I went to a land-grant college, so a lot of people who went to my university were members of 4-H that set you up for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and kids from all ages, all schools can join that.
Yeah.
There's no specific place that you have to be from.
Correct. We have
We're
much more straight ahead.
All right, sun's out, guns out. Look, the rose in the middle of two thorns.
It is getting warm out here.
It is.
This is a fantastic place to be. If you aren't lucky enough to be down here in person at the Findlay Market opening day parade, we sure hope you're at home enjoying every minute of this. We are a little bit more than halfway through this parade. It has been enjoyable the whole time. So many marching bands, so much history and flavor of Cincinnati.
The great thing is the people who came out here and you at home are getting their money's worth because there are so many entries this year.
And you're right, there's so much diversity to the entries. You mentioned it. You mentioned history, you mentioned marching bands, you mentioned high schools, sports, food, beer. It's been great just to see there's so many different things that make Cincinnati what we know. It's a great place to live. It's on display here at the opening day parade.
You just made me hungry and thirsty.
Yeah, kind of does that.
Yeah, it does. It does. It actually makes you think, like, if you were back in school, the opportunities you would have to do things, be in the band, be a member of the sports team, do all that kind of stuff, and the opportunities you also get in Cincinnati, because we talked about all of these big name celebrities that were former ball players that are still in Cincinnati. You can look them up. Now it's easier than ever to find a local celebrity on social media, reach out to them and follow in their footsteps, and maybe even if you're like George Foster, he'll come over and give you some batting instructions, because he knows to do that from time to time as well.
And I think right now we're looking at the Sin City Shakers, a dynamic dancing and parade organization. They have a little bit of choreography thrown in too. Now it says they're dancing a little bit by Nelly and Florida Georgia Line. There are about 17 dancers in all who are taking part in this parade.
I think I could dance with them.
I think you could too.
I could go out there and dance with them. It'd be great.
I don't know if you know this. This is from our younger days, but Joe Danneman is a very good dancer.
Is he a better dancer than he is catcher?
You said that as in present tense. Was is probably the better way to put it.
And he also giggled,
was.
straight up laughed after he said that.
Absolutely, correct.
Yeah.
He was a great dancer.
But I will tell you this, when you see the dancers, that's another thing you're thankful that Frank's not here right now.
Yeah.
Because he would be out there putting on the show. And we all know how that went.
We do. CNE, Claremont Northeastern, the Rockets, the marching band is here to entertain on the opening day parade here in Cincinnati. Fun fact, their junior field commander, Jesse Fobar, just won the state championship in girls wrestling.
Wow.
And the two senior field commanders were the leads in the school's production of Shrek the Musical. Charlie Fry was Shrek, Taylor Beasley was Fiona. Multi-talented kids in the Claremont Northeastern Marching Band.
Now I see these guys circling down here, right? This is the Indianapolis Motorcycle Drill Team. And I was wondering, what is going on? Because I saw these flashing lights kind of like, trickling down Ray Street. And I'm wondering, are those officers? What's going on here? But this originated in 1954. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Motorcycle Drill Team travels all across the country performing. They're police officers who perform on the same motorcycles they use on their daily patrols. And there's 12 of them right now. As you can see, they are perfectly in sync.
Yeah, it felt like they doubled back to perform a little bit for more of the crowd here at the start of the parade, and now they're making their way through. These guys are impressive. You can see INDIANA and all the way to Indianapolis to spell it out there. Perfect. That's a cool thing. I don't remember them being in the parade before.
No.
Do you?
I would have remembered if there were motorcycles that spelled out Indianapolis.
That was a nice touch, a nice addition here to the opening day parade. I like that. And they're operating in a very small space here where they have to turn and spin and stay in formation. They're coming back now for another round for the fans to see them here on the parade
I will say
route.
that, I mean, people have to like back up a little bit on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
But those are sharp turns.
Yeah.
And you talk about Reds country, right? It's not Cincinnati. Reds country extends to Kentucky, to Lexington, extends to West Virginia, and of course extends to Indianapolis as well, because there's certainly a lot of Cubs fans in Indianapolis, probably some Cardinals fans, but a lot of Reds country dips in to Indianapolis.
And you know that's right, because when they take the caravan, they hit all the regional areas where there are a lot of Reds fans.
It's a great point.
They really added some zip. Did you see how fast they were going down there?
That guy.
Oh, my.
No hands. All right.
Oh,
The crowd liked that one. I hope that was on camera, because I know it was a little bit past us, but one of the final performers stood up on his motorcycle, took his hands off the wheel, and was just like surfing straight down the road here. And they're back here again to circle through. These guys have been a hit.
Quick. He was going quick, and the crowd loved it. Hopefully he gets an opportunity
coming back
to come
here.
back
He's
down
coming
this
back.
way. Here he comes
Hopefully
again.
he makes it on camera all the way
He's
through.
in the middle of the drill team.
It's like a scene from Teen Wolf. When Styles was on top of the minivan. Yes.
Fantastic.
This guy was great. What a great addition they've been. The Indianapolis drill team, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a motorcycle
drill team.
Getting a nice ovation from the crowd. Yes.
Very impressive.
That was great. I enjoyed that.
So the thing to notice there is that they took up a lot of the parade route.
Yes.
And it was worth every
yes, it
block.
was.
So that there is the 9/11 Traveling Memorial. It's a piece of steel from the World Trade Center, the North Tower. The 9/11 Steel Memorial is a joint venture between the Cincinnati Fire Museum and the Good Timers Foundation.
Let's talk about the Lawrenceburg Marching Tigers 26-member band. What is this? I'm thinking the 5th band we've seen? 6th maybe?
Oh yeah.
A lot.
Between college and high school,
6 bands so far. 26 members right here from the Lawrenceburg High School in Indiana. And they're going to be playing Lady Gaga, Bad Romance.
Bad Romance.
And we talked about East Central when they came by. The Lawrenceburg High School football team also made it to Lucas Oil Stadium.
Really?
They played in the state championship game as well. So East Central and Lawrenceburg had great football seasons that they're celebrating, and their band was a big part of that.
We have much more of the Findlay Market opening day parade. It's the 104th one. We're back in a moment.
And welcome back, Rob. Go ahead.
Welcome back. What's amazing, if you don't come down here, I encourage you to do so because it's what you need in your life, because it's uplifting, it makes you feel hopeful, and it joins us as a city, and a community.
Rob.
Right? Don't you think?
He could almost write poetry. That was so beautiful.
It's just like I feel it right here, right? Like proud to be from Cincinnati and call this place home.
Yeah, this is us. This is Cincinnati, right on display out here today. And I was thinking during the break about all the great things we've seen so far today, and some of my favorites that we saw. I really enjoyed when the former Bengals came by and they were throwing footballs that I couldn't catch.
Yeah, I remember
that was a lot of fun. But I do think the Indianapolis drill team was one of the highlights, and I'd never seen them before.
I hope they come back, and I'm going to be pining for them until they do. That's how good they were.
So it seems like we're in the last home stretch here of the parade. We're going to stay on here all the way to the end of the parade here, and then leading up to, well, first pitch is coming here in about 2 hours and 20 minutes when the Reds and Pirates play down at Great American Ballpark. I saw a Todd Frazier jersey behind me. You guys remember Todd Frazier,
sure, yeah.
the home run derby hero.
Yes.
He's throwing out first pitch today.
Oh.
So Todd's back in town. He'll throw out first pitch at Great American Ballpark before the Reds and Pirates at 4.
It's fantastic.
And Todd Frazier, wasn't he in the Little League World Series?
He was.
Yeah.
So that was his claim to fame, was that he went from Little League World Series champion all the way to the major leagues and home run derby champion here at Great American Ballpark. And quite honestly, if you made a short list of the great moments in Great American Ballpark history, that's top 2.
Well,
it's right there with Jay Bruce's clinching home run in 2010 to send them to the playoffs, and Todd Frazier winning the hometown home run derby.
Do you know that All-Star game is how this started? Of course, Trish and I worked together in the beginning, right? Working weekends. We went to mornings. I stayed on mornings for 16 years. She went to nights. But when we anchored the All-Star game together, that's when my boss started coming up to me and saying, like, we want you guys to start working together again.
And then your answer was, I don't want to do that late shift. I like waking up early in the morning. I had to beg you to come tonight.
Sometimes you don't know until you know.
Speaking of a big heart and all of the love today, so happy you're tonight. Let's check this parade out once again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you just saw the Cincinnati College Prep Academy Lions. That was just a moment ago. They did a fantastic job. And so now you're going to be looking. Let's get this straight, guys.
This is the Wapakoneta Breakfast Optimist Club. All right, so they're here with all the lawnmowers right in tow. This is a Cincinnati opening day parade staple.
Now they could do some tricks.
They can do tricks with these lawnmowers here. And I'm looking forward to seeing them on camera. There they go. They're lining up to do something here. They're getting the crowd involved. Let's check this out.
Oh, and I have to mention, right before the lawnmower guys were was the mop-ins and the yellow ribbon support people, because they're doing true to my heart as well. Still giving care packages to people overseas, still collecting donations right there in the Beachmont area all the time, 7 days a week.
So these members of the Wapakoneta Breakfast Optimist Club who just walked by with their lawnmowers, 16 push-style lawnmowers. They'll be performing various stunts throughout the day. They did one of their first stunts right there, and it looked like they hadn't practiced it since last opening day. They weren't in queue, but that's okay. They've got the rest of the parade route to get it right, and those guys have been doing it for so long, they'll nail it as the day goes on. I also have to mention one of the wardrobes of the guy, well, 2 of them, you can see them. I hope that didn't show up on TV.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, Joe, by the way, your wife just texted and said, I hope he noticed the lawnmowers are out. Hint,
That's
hint.
now been passed off to my 14-year-old son.
Nice job.
I have retired from cutting grass.
That is impressive, because that was my job as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a rite of passage, isn't
It is.
It is.
I kind of explained it to him that way.
Well, my dad would go, I shouldn't have to tell you to mow the lawn. When you see it's long, go out there and mow it.
Did you get paid? Did your dad pay?
No.
My dad would give me $4.
Would he really?
$4
No, my
for
dad
every
was like
time.
going,
Yeah, so
this
I got
is what you
paid.
do to live around here.
Hey, this is the Bethel State High School Marching Band, 31 members strong, and they are performing their fight song, if we can hear them.
Like, if you guys were going to guess, like, how many bands do you think took part today on all levels?
So we were counting before when
This has to
one of
be
the
9.
previous bands came through. Yeah, I think this is number 9, and right behind him is number 10. So Great addition to the opening day parade. And I've said this multiple times, I'll say it again, the energy that the bands add to the parade is unmatched. And it's hard to manufacture, hard to duplicate. Even if there's a DJ that we hear on some of these floats, having live music to me makes a big difference.
You guys were talking about like joining into this parade. You know, you could just go to Findlay Market's website if you want to have your organization, your band, your team, whatever your company is, participate in the Findlay Market Opening Day Parade. All you have to do is go on their website and sign up. Do it for next year.
And we just saw Lincoln Ware.
Hi, Lincoln.
Not only is he a radio show host for Radio 1, he's also, I think, a former Marine. So thank him for his service. You can hear him on the Buzz.
Man, he's been doing this a long time, too.
A really long time. And Radio 1 was started by a former P&G executive who got into the talk radio business.
Ashley, we were just talking about how much we like Lincoln Ware. Make sure that when you talk to him, you tell him we said hello.
Yes. Okay, so, all right, how's it going today?
Hey, this is a long parade. My goodness. We're just starting, and it was supposed to have been over at 2 o'clock, I thought. But, hey, this is great. Everybody wants to be in the Findlay Market Parade. I've been doing this since I was, like, 10 years old. I've been coming down here, so this is great.
Why is it important for you to walk in this parade every year?
I mean, it's just to see all the people who come out for opening day. This opening day is like no other opening day around the country. It's unbelievable what happens here in Cincinnati with the Findlay Market Parade.
And beautiful day today.
Oh.
Do you think that that's kind of helped people's optimism about the season and about today?
I don't know about that, but people love the great weather on opening day. That's one thing. But if they win today, then I'm optimistic. If they lose today, then I'm like, oh God, what's getting ready to happen?
There's a lot hanging on today, but I think the weather's powerful. I think it'll help lead us to a win.
Yes.
I'm manifesting that.
Yes.
All right, well, you have a great day and enjoy the rest of the parade route. It just got started.
I love it. I love the people. These are my people. My people.
They are. They're cheering for you. All right, there you go, guys. Back to you. Have fun.
Passing by us right now is the Deer Park High School Marching Band, 72 members. They will be performing at the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in 2026 for the 7th time. That's how good they are. They've been invited back now 7 times to perform there. We talked about that, right? That these bands get to go all over the country and perform at these amazing events and get a chance here on the opening day parade to do it as well.
I think we will forever remember the words of Lincoln Ware and this day. This is a long parade. But it's like the energy hasn't gone down at all. The crowd hasn't gotten smaller at all.
No.
People are just getting more than their money's worth.
They are. You know, the thing is that I keep looking down Ray Street and I keep thinking this has got to be the end. And they just keep coming. I mean, you can see this gigantic, you know, tractor trailer coming right down with a steel case on it, taking up like a whole block by itself.
Well, the great thing is, too, is like, where do we have to go, right? It's a beautiful day.
Great.
It's the opening day parade. It's an unofficial holiday. All these folks here are off work, off school to enjoy a parade. I've got no problem with more people wanting to be involved. And when it takes this long, that just means people want to be here and want to be involved and want to be in the parade and show off their organization, show off their team, show off their band because they're proud.
And as economics go, it's good for the city because all these people who took the day off are going to need to get some food or need to get some appetizers and spend that money, and that benefits the city as a whole.
All right, so purple's coming our way. This is the Aiken High School Band. The Falcons, 50 members, under the direction of Dr. Stephen Barton and Brandon Smith.
They sounded great. And speaking of great, we have to give it up to Shriners. It's the Syrian Shrine. They raise money so especially kids who have burns can get the care that they need.
And we've talked about there's so many things in Cincinnati that people come here for, and there are attractions, there are sports teams. But what the Shriners do for people all over the country, not just in Cincinnati, is something, again, that Cincinnati should be proud of. And I'm glad they're a part of the opening day parade every year because they deserve to be recognized for everything they've done for people, not only in Cincinnati, but for around the country, because people come from all over the place.
It's one of those
to
places
get
you hope you never have to
Right.
use, but you're so lucky that it's there if you ever do need it.
Is this the Groove Crew?
It is
the Groove Crew.
coming
The
our way.
Groove Crew dance. Nice. Again, now I look out there and I see the dance moves these ladies are doing. And I know Frank would always jump in and dance with them. I'm
Yes.
not going to challenge Ashley to jump in and dance with them. Unless she wants to, she can.
Well, so as we talk about this group, 40 members representing 6 decades.
Yeah, so I like the fact that we've been showing you all of the kids and the marching bands and the kids that are dancers. And now we have some adults that are pulling out the moves right here. They're performing Let's Groove by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
And we're all toe tapping up here as that song goes by. We're watching them dance and we're all toe tapping too. It's a great tune. And again, a part of the great flavor of the opening day parade to see some of these folks out here dancing. Because look, those are adults. They still have to get together and practice and put together a routine. And they got to have a routine that lasts them all the way from here to Fountain Square. So they're putting in work to make sure they're ready for a day like today. So congrats to them and everything they do to come out here on the opening day parade.
So the Brewing Heritage Trail, you know, the breweries are really a big deal here in Cincinnati. We talked about Wiedemann Brewer being one of the first back in the 1800s over in northern Kentucky, in Newport, Kentucky. But, I mean, the amount of places you can go to now in Cincinnati, it's unfathomable.
And I can't remember the name of the club, but there's kind of a jazz kind of underground bar in Cincinnati, Ohio. And it used to be where they stored beer underground.
Yes.
And what's it called? So and the thing is like
Ghost
those
Baby?
caverns have been reopened. Yeah, the name of the place is called Ghost Baby. And those caverns are being used in new ways, and you can take tours of them as well.
Well, and that Brewing Heritage Trail that you just said, it tells the story of Cincinnati through the lens of beer. And really, there is a big history of beer in Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. And speaking of companies with a big, long history in Cincinnati, what's your favorite scoop of Grater's ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip. I had it yesterday.
Did you really?
I did, yes.
Rob,
do you remember?
you have one?
My raspberry chocolate chip.
Ooh, is that right?
Yeah. Do you remember when Oprah mentioned Grater's
And
on
it
her
was
show?
almost sold out.
People around the country were losing their minds. But they use a special system called a French pot system, so it doesn't whip a lot of air into the ice cream, and that's why it's so dense.
You know what the hardest thing to do is? So I have a 14-year-old,
eating it.
a 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Right.
I can take them to a toy store, any kind of place, a sporting goods store, and they'll be fine leaving without anything. They'll look around. I took them to Grater's last night. We left with ice cream. We left with the little chocolate peanut butter Buckeyes. We left with a chocolate bunny. I mean, we must have spent $100 at Grater's. I'm saying, let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
And then you walk in there, it's not just ice cream. There's so many things to buy, and these kids wanted everything. I'm like, no, wait a minute. I can take you to a sporting goods store, to a toy store. You don't want anything, but we come here for ice cream. They leave with their hands full of stuff.
They're smart.
And I left with an empty wallet.
And did you notice, Joe, when the Bengals were on the road, even at the Super Bowl last year in LA?
Right.
Grater's was there as well.
You're right. You're absolutely right. It's one of what Cincinnati does great. And when you're on a level like that, you got to show it off.
Yep. All right, so somebody is announcing their presence with authority. Speaking of baseball.
Yeah, look at the guy up there up front.
Joe, tell me you got that reference.
Now, if I had a parade and I had a float, I would want that guy leading my float. Man, it's impressive. Man, they made an entrance. Hello.
You remember the scene in Bull Durham? He wants to announce his presence with
That's
authority.
right, with authority.
Yes.
With authority, Tricia. Here come the Reading Blue Devils, another marching band to show off here. There in the convertible is Todd Benzinger. We all know Todd Benzinger's claim to fame, right? He caught the final out of the 1990 World Series. 10-year-old me watching the Reds win the World Series. It was Todd Benzinger with Marty Brennaman's famous call, backing and calling, and the 1990 World Series belongs to the Cincinnati Reds. Todd Benzinger caught that final out. You know what I've never asked him? What he did with that baseball.
You need to ask him.
I do need to ask him that because he's around town. He still lives around here. So next time I see him, I need to find out what he did, because if it were me, I would catch the ball, put it in my back pocket, and then go celebrate, but hold on to that thing forever, because that is an unbelievable memory to catch the final out of a World Series like he did.
If you just would have given Ashley a little bit of heads up, maybe she could have caught up with him, but I don't know where she is right now.
So Ashley, if you can hear us, Todd Benzinger is wearing number 25 in a green convertible. She's got him. So Ashley, I want to know what Todd Benzinger did with the final out baseball of the 1990 World Series, if you're able to ask him.
Okay, we have a very important question for you. What did you do with the ball from the final out of the 1990 World Series?
Oh yeah, I remember that play. I had it in a box at home for about 15 years. And then the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame in 2005, I believe, asked for it, and I think you can find it right there.
So it's in the Hall of Fame?
It's in the Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's not the answer I expected. I thought maybe it'd be at your house and you would look at it every day, but you gave it away. I love that.
A lot more people can see it at the Hall of Fame than at my house in the basement, so it's where it should be.
Well, that is very nice of you. Okay.
Another one, by the way. We need another ball pretty soon.
All right, pretty soon, meaning in, maybe 6 months?
That'd be nice. That'd be amazing.
Okay, so what do you think about this season? Do you have a lot of hope? What do you think about today?
Today is really, I don't care what the Reds do, it's one of the highlights of the year. And this weather just makes it even more so. There's like 250,000 people here, and they just love red. I mean, it's just a lot of red. I see a red, and I hope that we can kind of like surprise people this year.
I like that. All right, well, you enjoy this day, and you've got a lot of fans out here, too, so have fun.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. It's at the Hall of Fame, Joe.
Joe,
See?
you
Question
asked,
answered.
and you get it answered.
Well
just
done,
like that.
Ashley. I do find it funny that he said it was in a box at his house, but I think what he said was great, that more people can see it at the Reds Hall of Fame than they can if it's in his basement. It's a great answer.
That really is a
And
great
if you
answer.
haven't been to the Reds Hall of Fame, we've said it multiple times, I'll say it again, the small things like that you see when you go there will blow your mind. The small relics, the pieces of history they have there of baseball's most historic franchise is really a cool thing.
Well, and the other thing too is, like, if you've been there, you need to go back on a regular basis because it's a living museum. Things change in and out all the time.
Yeah, different exhibits, and this year the theme is Women in Baseball. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. It's great.
Here's the Batavia High School Bulldog Band, 85 strong. They're playing Confident by Demi Lovato. And this is their 4th opening day parade. So in case you think, hey, I thought I saw them before. Yeah, this is the 4th time they've been here. Saying that the Cincinnati Reds, the museum, it's like a living museum in the Hall of Fame. I like that because it's constantly changing.
So when the Reds played in the Field of Dreams last year, I went up there to ask questions about and look for any kind of connection to 1919, because remember, the Field of Dreams was born out of the idea of the Black Sox scandal and the guys who were booted out of baseball. And the Reds played in that World Series against the White Sox. That's one of the most forgotten teams in Major League Baseball history. Everybody thinks of 1919, they think of the Black Sox scandal, so they think of the White Sox. No one ever thinks about the Reds. I was blown away at the Hall of Fame for two reasons. The number of items they had from that 1919 team and the display of how good they were. It's one of the most underrated, more forgotten teams in Reds history. We all know the Big Red Machine.
Right.
We all know 1990 because we all lived it. But that 1919 team was one of the best teams in baseball, deserves more praise, deserves to be remembered more. And if you go to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, you'll see that for all the different items they have and all the great stories and numbers and everything that shows proof that that team deserved to win the World Series, and they did.
Well, and I heard Jeremy during his broadcast last night was talking about a player who says, I love Great American Ballpark because it's a ballpark where you can see a lot of home runs and get a lot of home runs.
A lot of people call it Great American Small Park because it's easy to hit home runs out of. So if you're a player like Will Myers, it was Will Myers who said that. He's a guy who's a former All-Star coming to Cincinnati this year, trying to get back some of the pop in his career.
Yeah.
We saw it last year with Brandon Drury. Reds fans remember that name, had a great first half here for the Reds and was able to parlay that into now a second contract in San Diego. So a guy like Will Myers is trying to come here, play well, take advantage of the ballpark, and then maybe latch on with somebody else after this year because the Reds have reinforcements coming after this year to play every position in the field. They're just not ready yet, and a guy like Will Myers kind of bridges that gap.
Let's talk about women once again, right?
Hey, Seton!
Seton soccer team state champions. They won the 2022 OHSAA Division I championship, and that is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, these girls can play ball. Seton's an all-Catholic, it's all-girls Catholic school in the West Side, in case you didn't know. Head coach John Volker and the assistant coaches Jay Kiley and Lisa LaRosa led the Saints to a 23-1 record. Congratulations, young ladies.
Yeah, a 1-0 win at the stadium where the Columbus Crew play. So they got the chance to play at a Major League Soccer field. 1-0 win. Shannon Ott was the hero of that game of the state championship. Ashley, let's check in with you.
All right, so we're here with the champions. You guys won, the whole shebang, right? Tell me about your season and what it's like to be able to celebrate it here today.
We really grew as a team, and we just built our season and worked so hard for it, and it was just amazing to see all of our hard work pay off. And to be here celebrating it and share with everybody is just amazing.
Well, and a lot of your school is here. We've got the cheerleaders, you've got the team here. What's it like to have that support too?
It's definitely helped us so much through our journey, to have all the support from our team, from our community. It's just an amazing feeling.
Our sports guy, Joe, was saying you guys got to play at a pretty cool location for that championship game. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, it was surreal to see all of our fans around us, just going in the locker room to see the big stage. It was just amazing.
That is so cool. You guys gonna do it again next year?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
All right, well, good luck and enjoy today. It's beautiful out here.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, guys, that's from Seton Soccer Champions. Back to you guys.
Joe, one of the things I'm around athletes so much in the past, the things that athletes, it was like you were watching like Michael Jordan playing basketball or Pele playing soccer. These kids do it all the time now.
We were talking this week, Tricia, about women's high school basketball, women's college basketball with UC hiring a new women's basketball coach. The soccer in this area, Northern Kentucky, Greater Cincinnati, Southeast Indiana, the soccer talent in this area is off the charts. We'll have a player, I guarantee it, we already have one, and Rose Lavelle playing on the national team, playing in World Cups. I guarantee we'll have more here the next time the United States plays in a World Cup in women's soccer.
And these girls that are playing college basketball are now getting NIL deals just like the boys, and there's one right now who's a pretty outstanding player, has over $1 million in NIL money, which is really unheard of, especially for women. Because we're talking about women because we're celebrating women in baseball this year.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And can you believe it? What time is it right now?
2:15.
2:15.
Yep.
So that parade was 2 hours and 15 minutes. By far the longest parade we've covered because I can feel it in my back.
I hope you had a great time. We had a great time. The energy was high the whole time as they're wrapping up right now and everybody's getting set to go. A lot of people actually head right down to the ballpark and go to the game. Some of them take a little break in between, but then they're going to end up at the ballpark. Okay, what's your prediction for this year's Reds? Because a lot of people don't have a lot of high expectations after last year.
Let me start with today. I predict they'll win today because Hunter Green absolutely dominated the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. 2 starts, only gave up 1 run. 19 strikeouts in 13 innings against the Pirates last year. This team, Joey Votto said it this week, they have to change the narrative quickly. We remember what happened last year. This team is better than last year. They're not yet ready to make the playoffs. Maybe they'll surprise us and do it, but I do think they're ready to overachieve here in 2023. Whatever your prediction is, add 8 to 10 wins. I think the Reds are going to overachieve. Reds fans are excited. They're all around us. They're going down to the ballpark, 4:10 first pitch, as the Reds start this season with a chance to surprise a lot of people.
What's your favorite part of the parade today?
The Indianapolis motorcycle drill team. I mean, they're like seared in my memory. I'm gonna go like look up YouTube videos to see if they did this anywhere else. But the most
That's a good memory.
You know what I
That's a
mean?
good one.
And really, honestly, like the 3 of us have been doing this for years, and I look forward to it every year.
Never disappoints.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We hope you had a great afternoon. And go Reds.
One time, opening day wins matter.
Thanks for joining us today.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.